How's it going, everybody? Ask me anything about politics. That is what we are doing here today. So if you got any questions about politics, let me know in the chat, and I will do my best to give you a great answer. I know that politics can be really intimidating when you're first trying to learn about it and get your bearings. I know it can kind of feel like, trying to learn a new language because there's so many like abbreviations and three-letter agencies and sometimes we just refer to people by their last names. And so, I like to make this space available where anybody can ask me questions about politics and you don't got to worry about getting judged or getting roasted or getting debated. That is not what I am here to do. I am just here to answer all of your good faith questions about politics. There's no judgments, there's no roasting, there's no debates. I don't care who you voted for. I don't care if you didn't vote. I don't care if you are having some connection issues. I don't care if you are further to the left than me. I don't care if you're further to the right than me. I am just here to answer all of your good faith questions about politics. Sometimes I can get a little spicy in the comments if people are being spicy at me, but mostly I try to practice a kind of radical acceptance and patience. What's up, Dan Blackroy? Good to see you again. If you got any questions about politics, let me know. I know that politics can be really intimidating when you're trying to learn about it. It can sort of feel like you're learning a new language because there's so many different abbreviations and sometimes we just refer to people by their last names. And, if you don't know who those people are, it can be really difficult to try to keep track of everything. Carmine asked The Appeal. What's up, Rosalind? I don't know why my internet connection is so unstable right now. Carmine, which appeal are you referring to? If anybody's got any questions about politics, just let me know in the chat and I will do my best to give you a great answer. I'm not here to roast you. I'm not here to debate you. This is not that kind of live stream where I just yell at you and tell you that your opinions are wrong and that you're stupid for thinking the things that you think. If you are a hardcore MAGA person and you have a good faith question, I will answer it as pleasantly and coolly as I can. It is a practice. I am trying my best over here. Sometimes I gets away from me. DJ Moore break. My first stream was unceremoniously interrupted because I got reported, and but I won the appeal, and that is why I am back. So also, I almost never do a live stream at this time, and I thought maybe I would, catch some people who don't usually check me out, and I thought that would be pretty cool as well. So if you got any questions about politics, let me know. I don't care who you voted for. I don't care if you didn't vote. I'm not here to judge you based on your question. If you ask a question you don't got to worry about. God damn. Yeah, guys. The universe is telling me not to do this. It keeps on giving me internet issues. So I don't care who you vote for. I don't care if you didn't vote. You don't got to worry about your question. Like, if I ask this, he's going to think I'm some sort of cuck libtard. Or, if I ask this question, he's going to think I'm some sort of MAGA fascist. There's no judgments here whatsoever. Mandy Kidwell Parkins says, can Trump be removed from office for what he is doing to this country? He can, but there are certain levers of power that are being controlled by the Republican Party right now, which means that it is unlikely that it will happen. So the Republican Party, it helps to look at the Republican Party as being like an extension of the Trump campaign, where the Republicans in Congress are supposed to be a check on the power of the presidency, but because they're working with Trump or they're scared of Trump, they're not going to do anything to him regardless of if he is doing things that are wildly illegal. So if you want to impeach Trump and remove him from office, you have to vote for Democrats in the midterm elections, which are in 2026. Now, in order to impeach a president, you only need half of the House of Representatives, and it is likely that Democrats will be able to take back the House, and so it's likely that Trump will. God damn! I keep on having my stream disconnected here. Oy, 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 oy. Yeah, DJ, you know what's going on. Sorry, I'm having connection issues over here. Either there's a good chance that we take back the House, in which case Trump will get impeached again. But as far as removing him from office, you would need 2/3 of the Senate, which is 67 Democratic seats, which would be really difficult for us to get, but not impossible. And so if you live in a state with a Republican senator who is up for election in 2026, what I would do is I would spend as much time as I could afford between now and then convincing everybody in my state to vote for the Democrat instead. And then, crazier things have happened in politics. Let's see here. I don't want to pronounce your thing here. Why are people protesting against Trump? He's been through hell fighting for us. I don't think that that's accurate, my man. From also Drone Cowboy wrote Trump is King USA. That's a block. I don't care if I have different opinions than me, but actually ask a question. I don't know if you're asking me this question in good faith. XREAP3XR98. But I'll tell you that people that are paying attention to politics can see that Trump is doing a lot of damage to the country and is hurting a lot of people all around the world. And so if you want me to get into more details on that, I will. If you're just going to call me a cuck, that's fine also. But I wanted to let you know why people are protesting. He is not fighting for us. He is fighting for himself and his billionaire buddies. Victor, do you support liberals or conservative? Liberals. May I join? The answer is no. I do not have people on my live stream. Kathleen D. Brown says, yes, please explain. I will happily explain. Okay, so let's take Doge for example, like number one. Okay, Doge is not a legal organization. So, in order for Doge to be doing the things that it is doing, it would need to be confirmed by Congress, and those people would need to be appointed and voted on. None of that has happened, so what they're doing is illegal, which would not be, I don't know, it's a big deal, but it wouldn't be bad if they were doing things that were, like, good for the country, But what they're doing is not good for the country. It's not good for anybody but billionaires. Elon is lying and telling people that he is finding all this waste, fraud, and abuse, but many, if not all of the things that he has published as like what he's found have been debunked and proven to be false or greatly inflated. And so, what is he doing, actually, if he is not finding waste, fraud, and abuse? What he's doing is shutting down government agencies that are currently investigating him. The Consumer Financial Protection Board, USAID, all had open investigations into Elon's companies. Additionally, he is shutting down parts of the government that help the 99% protect themselves against the top 1% billionaire class. And because Elon is a billionaire and he wants to be able to rule over us without any rules or regulations, he is incentivized to try to shut those programs down. He's not saving us any money because, it would save you money to not pay rent, but then you'd be living on the street. That's kind of what's going on here, is that we're spending less, but we're also getting a lot less. Additionally, because they are laying off, again, illegally, people from the government, and the government generally hires people who are veterans. They give preferential treatment to veterans when they're hiring. What Doge, Elon Musk, and Trump are doing right now is essentially mass firing veterans. And they are defunding the Veterans Hospital. So these people who fought for our freedom, who risked their lives and came back. Sorry, keep on having some connection issues here, everybody. Sorry about connection issues, everybody. So yeah, these people who fought for our country, fought for our freedom, and then they come back mostly with PTSD. They get these government jobs, and then all of a sudden they get fired. They don't know where their next paycheck is coming from, and they also don't have access to the kind of psychiatric care that they need because the VA hospital has been defunded. So there's just like a little taste. And then, of course, there's like the tariff war, which is completely unnecessary and is crashing the economy and is going to cause massive layoffs and price increases and inflation. So there's just like a little taste there for you. Alrighty. Let's see. Dustin Herford said, bet that border would be open for anyone to enter. Dustin Herford, the border was never open under the Biden administration, so I don't know what you're talking about. Samurai Destroyer, good to see you again. The citizen do make bad choices and have overall bad health. Like you said, it was a conservative talking point, but I do agree with it. Like you can make the most ideal system that you want for the U.S., but the system itself cannot fix and solve the issue with citizens making bad choices. Ultimate personal responsibility is important, so you can advocate for change. Personal change, so I don't care if it is a conservative talking point. This point is valid in my opinion. Samurai, I understand what you're saying. And for me, knowing that it is a thing that billionaires have done purposefully in order to trick people into thinking a certain way or voting a certain way, it gives me pause to think like maybe that's not the case. Now, maybe you think that's valid because you have personal experience, anecdotal experience with that sort of thing. But on the whole, aesthetically, holistically, it's not the case. And people need help. The problems that we have in the country and world are mostly because of an unchecked class of billionaires who are doing whatever the fuck they want, regardless of how many people it hurts in the process. Income inequality is a big part of that as well. Fucking over poor neighborhoods by, like, putting, chemical refinery plants so that all those kids get cancer and shit like that, and food deserts, and, a liquor store on every corner, shit like that. Like, it's all by design by rich assholes, so that's where I come down on it. I'm surprised to hear that you're not convinced by this. Let's see here. What would make Kamala better when war broke out under her and Biden's watch and our borders were flooded? So we did have, good Lord, the connection issues that I'm having on TikTok. The connection issues that I'm having on TikTok are really, really chuffing me. These connection issues are really chuffing me, man. So XREAP3XR98, I am concerned that you may not have been getting accurate information about our border. The border was never open under the Biden administration. That's number one. Number two, Kamala Harris was the vice president. She didn't have a lot of power to do things. That's number two. Number three is there was increased global instability during the Biden administration, but it was caused largely by decisions that were made during the Trump administration. The Trump administration right now is, starting fights with everybody. They're escalating tensions in the Middle East. I think it is clear that we're going to see escalated tensions and more war. For fucking sake, he's threatening to invade Greenland and Canada and fucking the Panama Canal and shit like that. And as far as, like, people flooding over the border, like, yeah, there were more people coming here during the Biden administration. But here's the thing. I don't know if you're one of these people that thinks it's fine so long as people come here legally, or if you're one of those people that's like, immigrants are a hard no for me. Let's see here. Yeah, Sweet Caroline, I'm so sorry. I'm going to see if I can dip out of the TikTok and then, I'm going to try to dip out of the TikTok and then come back in because the lag is bugging me also. All right, I'll be right back, everybody. Alrighty, let's see here. Yeah, this is really chafing me, guys. Even if it is anecdotes, personal choice do play a big role among citizens. Yeah, but how do you know, Samurai Destroyer? How do you know that what you are experiencing or what you are interpreting as being the issue is accurate if you are only going off of anecdotal evidence? Let's see here. I think you need to look at things more holistically. I think you need to look at things from the perspective of what does the data say is going on here. All right. I'm going to try this one more time and see. Also, did you see what's going on in North Carolina? Are you talking about the state Supreme Court? They're trying to steal a seat. The Republicans are trying to steal a Supreme Court seat. I did not hear if there were any updates to that. All right. Hopefully my connection will be stronger this time. We will see how we do. Okay, fingers crossed. Yeah, I've known that the Republicans have been doing this for a long time. It is, obviously it's disgusting. It is, wildly unethical. Yeah, no, it's not happening. God damn. I gotta figure out a way to fix this. Alrighty. Yeah. I gotta figure out a way to fix this. I was so excited about doing an evening live stream. Let's see what we got here. Samurai Destroyer says, well, I found that U.S. is ranked number 10 in the world by obesity, by 41.64%. I mean, that is high literary. Yeah, so do you think that America has a lot of obesity because Americans are just like generally a unhealthier people with less self-control? Or do you think it's because, Our grocery stores are filled with a specific type of ultra processed food, and our culture has told us that that is the kind of food that we should be eating, and that we have defunded education to the point where people don't know what is the correct way to eat. And we're being lied to by the advertisements on the box that food that's just called like healthy that might not be healthy, food that says all natural because they can't legally call themselves organic, shit like that. I view those things as evidence of a system that is engineered to get people to consume more of a product. If you go into any gas station here in America, it's just candy and junk food everywhere. And so that's what's available to people. I don't believe it's a moral failing of character. You know what I mean? So yeah, tell me what you think about that. Robert Castro II says, second stream, how did we get so lucky? Oh, Robert, that's very sweet of you, but I got decidedly unlucky. I wanted to do another live stream today because my first live stream was cut short by a jerk who reported me for misinformation, despite the fact that I did not do that. And then I wanted to do a second live stream because I was like, oh, that'll be really cool. I'll get a chance to maybe, get some people, some viewers that don't usually see me when I'm doing it in the afternoon. And now I'm having like major internet connection issues, and the lag on TikTok was fucking people up. So I decided, I've been having some bad stream luck lately. Samurai Destroyer says, well, I'm not an American, but I do think it is a combination of corporations selling its unhealthy food like McDonald's, and also people making their choice. Like, I don't think this issue is black and white. Like, this issue is nuanced. Like, I'm not a liberal or a conservative. I mean, I get it. Samurai Destroyer, I completely understand. I guess, I don't know. I believe that people deserve the grace to be able to make bad decisions and then be able to course correct. And I also think that we should recognize where the incentives of our culture, and Canadian culture and American culture are different, but they're similar in a lot of ways also. Where the culture and where the corporations have decided, are pushing us towards making certain decisions. For me, the issue is not that human beings in these countries have just become worse at making decisions and living their lives. And even if that was the problem, like, what do you think would be the solve for that? Just like yelling at people and wagging your finger at them? How do we change that? How do we affect people's decision making? Or do you think that the issue is that we need to have more punitive systems so that people aren't rescued from their bad decisions, that they are punished and therefore taught not to do that ever again? Let's see here. Like, I don't think this issue is black and white. Like, this is nuanced. Yeah, I already saw that one. All right, I am re-logging in. I have restarted my computer. I'm going to do my best to see if I can get this motherfucking thing to work. And then we will decide from there whether or not we continue this grand, lofty experiment of doing a early evening live stream. Yeah, what time is it? It's like 7:30 on the East Coast. That's pretty cool. Alrighty. Let's bump this exposure down a little. Alright, I like that. Alright, here we go. Fingers crossed, everybody. Samurai Destroyer, but also, yes, we need to rebuild the culture of health, personal responsibility, and good habits, teach nutrition in schools, encourage physical activity, promote mental health coping strategies that aren't self-destructive. I love all those ideas, Samurai Destroyer. I think that is great. Now, the issue that I have is that the exact same party that is telling us that the issue is personal responsibility are also ones that are making those adjustments that you're talking about either impossible or really difficult. Teaching nutrition in schools, that's fucking out the window if the Republican Party is in charge. They believe in, corporate oligarchy. So they're going to be like, in lieu of nutrition, it's going to be nutrition sponsored by Nestle and Coca-Cola. Let's see here. Improve the nutrition of the kids. Let's see here. Encourage physical activity. Let's see here. Promote mental health coping strategies that aren't self-destructive. Yeah, again, access to mental health is something that the Republican Party has regularly defunded. Samurai Destroyer says, like, I'm not a Democrat nor a Republican. I completely get that. What I'm talking about, though, are philosophies. I'm talking about political philosophies of people on the right versus people on the left. What do the people on the right say they're going to do? What do they do? What do they stop from happening? And the same thing for the people on the left. And what I'm saying is that if you're somebody who's in the middle and is like, yes, we also need to, I can see how these corporate structures are incentivizing bad decision making, but personal responsibility is a thing, and here are the things we can do to help people make better choices. And I'm telling you that, like, yeah, the same people who are propping up this corporate structure that is fucking ruining people's lives are also not going to allow any of those things to happen, that you're talking about. Alrighty, let's see here. Let's see if I can bump down this resolution. All right. Okay. Okie dokie. I have just seriously bumped down all of my... Oh boy. That's fine, I guess. All right, we're gonna see if this runs better now that I have bumped down all of my stuff over here. Samurai Destroyer says, I mean, at least we agree. Yeah, but here's the thing. Like, I take that information and I say, all right, well, if this party is doing all the wrong things, like maybe, it can be a shorthand for which of these parties would be better for, governing. All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Ask Me Anything About Politics. If you got any questions about politics, let me know in the chat, and I'll do my best to give you a great answer. I know that politics can be really intimidating when you don't know too much about it. That is why I like to make myself available on these live streams where you can ask me anything you like about politics, and I will do my best to give you a great answer. There's no judgments here. There's no roasting. There's no debating. I'm not here to yell at you. I'm not here to tell you that your opinions are wrong. I am just here to answer all good faith questions about politics. I know that politics can be really intimidating when you are still having connection issues. All right, I give up. I give up. I got to figure out how to solve this some other time. Alrighty, everybody. Let's see here. Samurai Destroyer says, I give one thing. I majorly disagree with both parties. For Democrats, I don't agree with social issues and Green New Deal. And for Republicans, I don't agree with healthcare. What's wrong with the Green New Deal? Samurai Destroyer, what's wrong with a proposal that is intended to boost clean technology, deliver clean energy jobs, make food safer to eat, make our air safer to breathe, make our water cleaner to drink? What is the issue that you have with that? And what are the social issues that you disagree with where Democrats are concerned? Okay. $643.60. DJ Moore, break please. Totally off subject. When you coming back to North Carolina? I don't have any plans to come back to North Carolina anytime soon. My schedule right now is on my website, so you can check all that stuff out. And I believe The closest that I'm going to be to North Carolina on this stretch is Kentucky. But I was just in North Carolina. Did you see me in North Carolina? I was opening for Steve. Let's see here. Green New Deal is unfeasible and not technologically possible because even if you are able to do that in the US, it doesn't solve the climate change issue because China and India are still burning coals and natural gas. So why is the US the only one doing it? So, you know, I think you are looking at the climate change issue as too black and white. Like, you know, America is a massive contributor to greenhouse gas emissions. And in reforming our, economy and energy grid to be not that, it will make the problem severely less bad. And then we can do things like work with China and work with India and work with other countries to develop similar policies. Because when things work well for one country, then they can potentially work well for another country. You know, if me and my neighbor are both, throwing garbage into our shared pool, and I stop throwing garbage into our shared pool, then number one, there's less garbage in the shared pool, and less is better. But also, there's more pressure on him to stop throwing garbage into the community pool because now he's the only one who's doing it, and he feels like a jerk. When more people do a bad thing, it gives sort of like a moral cover for everybody to do the bad thing, you know? Let's see here. And it's also very technologically possible. Like right now, renewable energy is cheaper to produce and cheaper to deliver to people than the previous, versions, the fossil fuel gas. So I'm not really sure why you're saying it's not technologically possible. Additionally, we're like at the cutting edge of, nuclear fission fusion technology, which would mean, limitless free energy. It's so fucking disappointing that we have Trump as president right now because we're right fucking there. If we just put a little bit more fucking gas in the tank, we can get there so much quicker. But we're under the regime of a fucking idiot who is only doing what the oil and gas industry is fucking telling him to do, and they don't have our best interests in mind. They just want to make more fucking money, and they make more money when we are forced to use their fucking products. All right, 640. That's not what I want. There's gotta be a different ratio here. Okay. Right, is it the lowest bit rate? Let's try that one. Okay, let's see here. What's up? Oh, Patrick Schultz. You got more than one here. Let's see here. Yeah, I'm actually after the show. That's how I found out about you. Actually gave you a handful of stickers. Yes, I remember you, Patrick. Yes, I remember you at all. Samurai Destroyer, like the Green New Deal, costs a lot of money, like trillions of dollars. Not really, Samurai Destroyer. I mean, it's going to save money in the long run. It is just, what do you call it? It is just right now, looking at the 10-year version of it that is expensive, where we're going to spend the, more money propping up oil and gas industry and also more money dealing with the health-related consequences and also more money dealing with the damage from climate change, Let's see here. The cons of the Green New Deal. Technical challenges. There are still unsolved problems, such as large-scale energy storage. Again, those are being solved right now. I think we're further along than you think it is. That some legislature, maybe too optimistically, assumes will be solved in the coming decades. I'm talking about solved in this decade, misguided legislation. Some Green New Deal legislature may also go against nuclear power, which has lower carbon intensity than renewables. Yeah, I don't believe that that's a part of the Green New Deal is, eliminating nuclear. Let's see here. Possible lower standards of living for the average person. Cars, meat, clothing, electronics, and other goods may become more expensive. I have not seen any data to suggest that that is the case. As exploitative practices allow for cheaper produce unpopularity, some Green New Deal reforms are unpopular and can lead to the public rejecting all environmentalism. I mean, no, that's okay, Samurai Destroyer. So you don't have to apologize for the long message. Right now I'm only doing Twitch and YouTube because I'm having some fucking massive connection issues over on TikTok for some fucking reason. So yeah, I just gotta tell you, I disagree with all this stuff. Like there's the Green New Deal is not a piece of legislation. It is a policy proposal. It is an idea. And it is lofty and ambitious, but it is also exactly what the world needs, transforming our economy and our energy systems in a way that doesn't, funnel billions and trillions of whatevers of greenhouse gases into the atmosphere, there are a lot of lies around the Green New Deal, and I feel like maybe that's what you heard. Because a lot of the things that you're mentioning, I'm like, that wasn't in there, and that seems inaccurate, and that is not my understanding of things. I do favor gradual transition, like I'm not against green technology, but I also support nuclear energy. Yeah, Samurai Destroyer, again, I just think you've been lied to. I think that you've been told that the Green New Deal is a different document than it actually is. Because all the things that you are saying is, I basically agree that would be bad if it was in there, but it's not. This is, part of a grand strategy from the right and the billionaire class to paint the left as things that it is not. The way that they said that there were death panels in the Affordable Care Act, the way that they say that, public schools are forcing kids to chop off their dicks and become women. The way that when we say don't deport somebody who is here legally and has not done a crime, don't deport them to an El Salvadorian concentration camp, that gets turned into, oh, the Democrats love violent gang members, and they're going to bat for violent gang members. So, I would hope, I hope that you are open to, exploring the fact that you have been lied to about this stuff. Let's see here. I think that the excuse of us not having the current tech to be a limitation is a weak argument. We're American. If we want to do something, we will do it. It's how we got to the moon. We just got to want it. Yeah, completely agree with that. I mean, the fact that the Biden administration put forward the largest investment in green energy in world history, we were making the strides that are necessary in order to transition into a fully renewable energy grid. We were doing it. We were doing it. And I was not seeing any reporting about, oh my God, this town doesn't have any power because of this, or, this town can't eat any burgers because of that, blah, blah, blah. There was none of that. I'll tell you what there was, though. In Texas, the energy grid kept on fucking failing. And not because of green technology, because of oil and gas and coal and shit like that. So, yeah. All right. I bumped down all of my settings. I'm going to try this one last time. Let's see if I can stay online. All right. Let's see here. Did you see the breaking story that the Supreme Court just cheered because they could start deporting people to Venezuela again? This is sickening and heart-rendering. Yeah, listen, my man. I am infuriated that a judge told the Trump administration that a guy that they admitted that they deported to an El Salvadorian concentration camp, illegally, they admitted that was the mistake, and they said, well, we can't get him back now. And a judge said, you have to get him back. And the Supreme Court said, no, they don't. Like, that is, yeah, it's unconscionable. It is just another piece of information in my, list of shitty things about this fucking Supreme Court. Like, unfucking believable, man. All right. Welcome, everybody, to Ask Me Anything About Politics. If you got any questions about politics, let me know in the chat. And I will do my best to give you... And we're offline again. All right. I fucking give up, man. I'm done with this. Good Lord. I got to get, some sort of new connection or something. I don't know what the fuck is going on here. Let's see here. According to the Heritage Foundation. Okay, so first of all, Samurai Destroyer, the Heritage Foundation, you need to know, is a right-wing think tank. Like, they are the reason why we have things like Project 2025. They are not like an independent research arm. They're specifically designed to elect Republican, cut regulations for billionaires, cut taxes for billionaires. Like, it is a fucking extreme far right-wing organization. So I'm going to read what you wrote, what the Heritage Foundation said about that, but you should know that that is an extremely biased and unreliable source. Okay, according to the Heritage Foundation, the Green New Deal will result in a number of unintended consequences. For instance, policies that limit coal, oil, and natural gas production in the United States will not stop the global consumption of these natural resources. Again, that is a really bad argument because less is better than more. And also, if we start, then the world follows. Like, that used to be America's, leadership role in the globe. Production will merely shift to places where the environmental standards are not as rigorous, making the planet worse off. That is bullshit projection. That is the Heritage Foundation saying, well, somebody's gonna burn all this coal and oil and gas, as though we have no say, as though we can't go to other countries and say, look, here's this great green technology that we're using. It is cheaper, it is safer, it is better for the earth, it is better for climate change, it is better for making sure that our air is safe to breathe and our water is safe to drink. Yeah, unbelievable, Samurai Destroyer. Like, I get it, but you cannot trust the Heritage Foundation. Everything that I just read there is fucking rich person propaganda. Yeah. DJ Moore break. Let's see here. I mean, what is the cost then? What is the cost of the Green New Deal? It's just going to take a lot of money and work, but, fossil fuel is a lot of money and work also. If we just transition our resources from, fossil fuels to green energy, then we will eventually transition into a fully green, cheap, free, potentially unlimited energy that does not have any of the negative side effects of warming our planet, polluting our air and our water, and shit like that, So yeah. All right, guys. Samurai Destroyer was good chatting with you. DJ Moore, good to see you. Robert Castro, good to see you as well, guys. Thank you for being with me here on this little experiment. I got to figure out how to solve this internet issue because, again, but the good news, I don't know if you guys saw, I won my appeal, so now I get to go back on TikTok, which is pretty fucking cool. Alrighty, let me see. Let me guess. We should tax the wealthy to fund the Green New Deal. I mean, yeah, Samurai Destroyer. We should tax the wealthy for fucking everything. We should tax the wealthy for universal healthcare. We should tax the wealthy for universal education. We should tax the wealthy for universal basic income. They are fucking living the high life on their fucking yachts, eating lobster 3 meals a day, when the rest of us are all fucking struggling, Yeah. So I don't know why you're kind of asked that question like that's like that was a bad thing that we're gonna, Samurai Destroyer says how much percentage. So I don't have a number, but I do know that it's more. We have massive income inequality right now, and these people have so much fucking money, it is unfathomable. I'm talking about the difference between the size of the sun and the size of an ant. Think about how much $200 billion is. There's no way to imagine how much money that is. They have it, they're hoarding it, they don't need it. It is not good for us, the world, the economy. It's not good for anything that they are hoarding that money and are taking it out of the global supply chain, Let's see here. Are you worried that they will leave the country? I mean, they could, but, we could also force their money to stay here. There are a lot of mechanisms by which we can keep rich people from just, jumping ship. One of the things that the Biden administration was working on, and that would have continued under the Harris administration, was a deal with every planet on the globe to say that we are going to tax corporations at this rate, so that no country could undercut that, and therefore all the companies would move to like that one country. But as far as billionaires leaving the country and then not paying taxes somewhere else, fuck them. They can go somewhere else. I don't give a shit. Alrighty, I gotta get out of here, guys. Thank you for being here. Again, good chatting with you, Samurai Destroyer. The wealthy benefit from a healthy workforce. Completely agree with that.